Hi, I'm Rodrigo Carvajal, and welcome to European History Crash Course.
And I'm Evan Bailey, and today we'll be talking about the rise of Catholic Spain and how it happened.
We will be telling you how the new monarchs united Spain by defeating the Muslim Empire and in turn changed Spain into the country we know today, arguably making everything from the colonization of Americas, the building and later sinking of the Spanish Armada, or even the Spain World Cup victory in 2010 possible.
Okay, maybe not the last part, but usually when you think of Spain, you think of
But all rock soccer references aside, Evan is right. Usually when you think of Spain, you don't think of the powerful Muslim empire. You think of Catholic monarchs, the Spanish Armada, or their Latin American colonies. But in fact, Spain was actually under Muslim control for around 700 years.
these Muslims, better known as Moors.
Los Moros.
Okay, not all of us speak Spanish. Anyways, these Moors originally from northern Africa migrated due to several political and social reasons, including revolts and despised governments. They crossed the Gibraltar. So then they liked what they saw in like Mi Gusta and decided to stay.
Well, actually, they would have been speaking Arabic, not Spanish, but same difference. So it's to my basic knowledge that countries tend not to be okay with other countries taking over them, especially when their conquerors are from different religions, and Spanish people are just stubborn as any.
So, how could the Moors not only conquer, but also control over 700 years? Were the Moors really that awesome, or did the Spanish suck that much?
Well, a little bit of both, though suck is kind of harsh on the poor Spanish people. So Spain was caught in the Dark Ages with plague, feudal systems, and no central power.
For starters, Spain wasn't even what we would consider Spain today. It consisted of kingdoms Navarre, Portugal, Aragon, and Castile. And as they say, divide and conquer, or just conquer and they're already divided.
As a result, weak little kingdoms get conquered by the Muslim Empire, submit to their control, and change their beliefs, blah blah blah. The classic takeover process, right?
Wrong. The Moors established society, religious tolerance, making Spain, especially the southern portion, causing them to flourish.
This so-called Golden Age emerged Spain that surpassed anything that had ever been seen by the Christian-controlled Western Europe. Cities like Cordoba, Sevilla, Malaga, Granada emerged as cultural hubs, with Jews, Muslims, and Christians alike working together and developing ideas, discovering concepts never before seen in Spain.
Or the
Mr.
world.
Bailey, Mr. Carbridge, I have a question. What do you want a fresher version of myself that still plays Temple Run and trying to stop coming? I thought we were going to be talking about Catholic Spain, not Muslim Spain.
Yeah, and do we need to be like taking notes?
Fresh Rodrigo, there is no quiz. And as for the Catholic, we were trying to get there before y'all interrupted us. God, this is why I hate freshmen. Do you remember those days?
I wish I did. And by the way, freshman Rodrigo, you don't max biology or get on the varsity soccer team. What?
So once the 15th century hit, anti-Muslim rule was starting to rise. The kingdom of Aragon and Castile had both recovered a good portion of their land back, as Moors are depicted as dark-skinned, barbaric savages in Madrid and Toledo by the Spanish people.
This is actually completely false since Moors were about the same color skin as the Christian Spanish, and they had only improved Spain through their new architecture with introductions of arches, fountains, and balconies, advancements in medicine and science, and then the introduction of literature and geometry. Spanish, the language also, was even influenced by Moors. Most words that start with an al, almohada, alberca, and algodón, meaning pillow, pool, and cotton respectively, all come from the Moorish style of Arabic. In addition, spices and other agricultural products that have been introduced by the Muslims would have not reached Spain, and Spanish paella wouldn't even be a thing. That brings us to the open letter.
But first, let's find out what's in the secret compartment today. Oh my god, an A plus from Miss Siddiqui and Miss Witten? Thank you!
An open letter to PISD. How can we never learn about the Muslims in European history? Not only did they play a huge part in the history of Spain, but that huge empire in Eastern Europe we totally ignore. What's it called again? Oh yeah, the Ottoman Empire. Kind of a big deal, you would think, but no, not for Plano. So next time you find yourself writing curriculum, give the Muslims some recognition, and if there isn't any room in the schedule, you place an art movement day, preferably Rococo or Dada. but not Downton Abbey. Sincerely, Evan Bentley.
So back to the story. The Muslim Empire is beginning to weaken, and they're still a force to be reckoned with. But none of the empires were willing to take that fight until something big happened, really big. The marriage of Ferdinand of Aragon and Isabella of Castile.
This marriage was huge.
Like Beyonce and Jay-Z huge.
It mean it left Queen Isabella one less single lady huge.
It united Spain under one Catholic crown, making a political powerhouse. Their sights set on one goal, a unified Iberian Peninsula under their control.
Ferdinand and Isabella in turn started the Spanish Inquisition, where they started conquering the whole peninsula and forcing the conversion of Muslims and Jews to Catholicism, with the support of guess who? The Pope. Yeah, I know. What a surprise.
By 1491, the new monarchs had taken over Portugal and Navarre, and the only more strong point that remained was Granada.
So this brings us to how the new monarchs were actually able to defeat the Moors, the logistics of it. At this point, their conquest of the Arabian Peninsula was in full swing, but being two different monarchs from two different kingdoms, they both had their separate armies, and while Ferdinand was trying to defeat the Portuguese in the west, Isabella was in the south trying to make peace with the Muslims, since she felt more comfortable with ruling alongside them than her husband did. But when she entered the city of Granada, leaving her army outside, the Muslim ruler felt threatened and called for all his troops to be gathered to intimidate the Spanish queen. Unfortunately for him, as the troops gathered, some strong rain and storms caused the plague to spread through their army and kill a majority of them. When the weak army arrived in Granada, Ferdinand's spies advised them to crush the army once and for all.
Due to a small plague in the Muslim Empire and the overwhelming forces of the Catholic monarchs on January 2nd, 1492, the siege of Granada ended with a victory to Ferdinand and Isabella, and the Spanish were pretty pleased.
We seriously have to stop with the soccer references.
I know. But this is why it's a major turning point in European history.
And for our correspondent, Shania, we'll be telling you that.
The expulsion of the Muslims and the victory in the Battle of Granada are considered to be turning points in history for three major reasons. The battle unified and built a Spanish powerhouse in European politics. Also, the spread of Spanish ideas and culture flourished throughout the world's face. Another reason is the discovery and later colonization of the Americas.
If you think about it, without this victory of Granada, the culture in Latin America would be nothing like it is today.
Nothing like what?
A huge festival was held in Granada to honor the victory of the king and queen. Christopher Columbus was amongst the attendees at the ceremony, and this was where he received the capital for his voyage to the Americas. Indirectly, one of the greatest discoveries, due to the conquest of Granada, only further demonstrating the importance of this event.
In conclusion, the Moor Empire in Spain changed Spanish way of life and culture forever. The ideas, architecture, and style have influenced Spain to this day. But it was the end of the Muslim rule that caused the most dramatic and noticeable turning point in Spanish and European history. It was Ferdinand and Isabella, arguably the most important Spanish leaders of all time, who built the Spain we know today. By their unification of the peninsula, using a common religion, Catholicism, and a common enemy, the Moors, these monarchs were able to establish an empire unlike one ever seen before. By removing the Muslims, Spain nationalism grew, and the country became a stronger and more recognized powerhouse. In addition, these victories led to the investment of Christopher Columbus' expedition, leading Spain to colonize the Americas and thereby spreading Spanish culture and thought. This can be still seen today as Catholicism is one of the most worshipped religions in the world, and Spanish is the fourth most spoken language. This is why the expulsion of the Muslims in Spain is so significant, because it truly did change the world and build a nation. This is not a turning point for Spain, but a turning point for the world. Thank you for watching European History Crash Course.
European History Crash Course is written by myself, produced by our EHAP group, Shania Husseini, Evan Bentley, myself, and Selena Sultan, directed by Shania Husseini, edited by Evan. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, or follow us on Twitter. And please remember to tune in to next week's episode. Oh, I'm just getting that there's not going to be